Welcome back, everybody, to our studies of endgame strategy. And Mark, what are we gonna learn in this video?
We will discuss extremely important principle for all Rook endgames. It's principle of effectiveness of Rook. Actually, to formulate it, we need a few seconds. We don't need to discuss some theory.
Okay.
Just the formulation is very simple. Rook's effectiveness is the most important principle of evaluation and playing in Rook endgames. Mm-hmm. In normal Rook endgames, which are not theoretical but in just practical Rook endgames, it's first what we should take into consideration. For effectiveness of Rook, we need sometimes to ignore activation of king or creation of some pawn weaknesses. We can sacrifice pawns for effectiveness of Rook. So everything is possible for this. It's main criteria. Another additional important feature that this principle works not only in clear Rook endgames, but in many kind of endgame where Rook exists at the board.
So, we can see in the first example, there's knights.
Yeah, with knights. Here's this position with knight. Yeah, actually, formulation is very simple. So, from if many players knows it well, and even if they don't know, okay, I formulated it. You believe that you understand it, and so what we should speak about after that? It's a very simple formula.
The principle I know, of course, but there's often tough decisions. Do I give up a pawn? Do I allow this? Do I allow that?
It's actually a very big distance between knowledges and skills. So we can know well. For example, I can study how to drive the car. I can study maybe very well, but it will not mean that I can drive. I need to get practice. I should be able to use my knowledge for practical situation to see how it works in practice. Same here. Okay, formula is very simple, but not easy to use. We already see when we analyze Levitsky-Taimanov endgame, it happened in several situations, and sometimes it wasn't obvious that we need to use this principle. Even some experienced player, even myself, sometimes forget about using this idea. Even if it was a really strongest idea in position. So we should regularly train ourselves to use these knowledges. And not enough to just demonstrate to position that this Rook is active, this is passive, so I can enjoy my advantage. It's primitive. It's most instructive as a situation when we use it, when it's not obvious that we should use it. When the good understanding of this principle really prompt us, explain us which moves perhaps are good and perhaps are not good. So it helps us to make decision. So we will see several examples. Actually, what I can recommend you about it, it's in my Endgame University, German edition or Endgame manual, English edition, there is a chapter. In the part about Rook endgame, there is chapter Effectiveness of Rook. Mm-hmm. So there are some instructive examples. I really recommend you to study some example from this chapter, especially for the first example, Flora Widmar, classical endgame, brilliant endgame with many instructive moments. So I really recommend you to study it. I will not demonstrate you any example from this book, just because you can find it easily. I already explained them. So I will show you how it works in another kind of position with additional pieces. That this principle also works very well. And you will see how even very strong grandmasters sometimes don't forget about it, don't use it, and so on. Okay, and first example was that was the last round, so-called interzonal tournament. When Kasparov once played his own Sokol, and he played
was PCA times.
Yes, and it was an interzonal tournament. It was last round. And Romanishin won this endgame and qualified to candidate matches. So we will. His opponent Benjamin is a strong American grandmaster, played many times for American team, But you see how helpless he was in this endgame, just because his chess culture, his chess education wasn't good enough. Yeah, once I told about it in an interview in American Chess Magazine, and some American chess players, and Benjamin himself was very feel that they
Didn't make any
insulted and
friends.
so on. But no, actually, I don't want to insult him. Just want to demonstrate feature of some kind of education. Which, by the way, now in America, I know education became much better than in old
very
times.
strong.
Yeah, but in past it wasn't too good. Yeah. So okay, this position, black to move. White attacks pawn on a7. No, well, most natural reaction, which actually Benjamin played, rook c7.
Yes.
It's absolutely normal move, but there is a couple of drawbacks. No, first, just generally, okay, it's a little bit pity that white rook is active, attacks pawn, black rook is passive, protect pawn. So very often in many situations we just need to play it. We have no choice. But still, before to play it, because it's unpleasant to keep rook passive, maybe it's reasonable to check. Maybe you have anything else. Another reason why this move is not so good, because white has very unpleasant result.
Yeah, I was
knight f6
thinking
check.
about this. I don't have a good reply. King
G7, knight e8, king f8, I will take on h7. So the only move king h8 is a little bit unpleasant. And white can keep knight by playing g4. So it's a little bit unpleasant situation. Better to avoid it. It's something uncomfortable here. So before, sometimes we need to do it, but before to play it, let's check. Maybe we have something more active. Of course, we shouldn't give up pawn for free. It's no sense. So, but maybe some other options exist.
The options would be rook c2 or rook c1 check, and then maybe knight c8.
It's possible option, but in this case, rook is not so passive, but knight is very passive. Yes. And also white has the same play, g4. After that, say rook c1 check, for example, or rook c2, it's about same king g2 and knight c8. No, well, it's possible to play, but after g4 position is still unpleasant. White has a good advantage. I have pressure on king side. I can, in some moment, I will play rook d3 with idea rook d8, and maybe your king will be in danger. So I'm not sure that it's lost, but at least it's an unpleasant position.
So
maybe it's better to find something.
c4 maybe.
Maybe rook c4. Why not? How white will react? If knight c3 has no any danger, e5, simple reply, and then a4. So white is not better at all. So what white can do else? I attack knight. If you do something like this, f3, I can play rook a4.
Yep.
Maybe I have other moves also, but I can just exchange rooks. And knight's endgame is about equal. No advantage. Same knight f6. Knight f6 also not dangerous. King g7. Knight is a8. King f8 also white achieve nothing. Yeah. So after rook c4, it just has no advantage. It's but it's much better because I have no passive rook in this situation. So it's already better than rook e7. There is another way, but a little bit more complicated, more sharp. It's more difficult, but also active strategy, f5.
f5,
Yeah. If now knight g5, then I already can play rook c7 because you have now this unpleasant idea, knight f6 check and g4. So now it's already not too bad because I activate my pawns and so on. But problem after this is after e5 knight d6 is the problem. Because pawn is hanging, and if rook c7 I can play knight b5, for example. Yeah. But maybe I can play the rook c6 or maybe rook c7 after knight d6. Maybe it's just more forceful. Rook c6, knight b5, and now white has black has a very active play. Rook c5. I want to force you take this pawn with knight because knight out of place now. I lost pawn, but my pieces became very active. So I can start some kind of counter play. Rook c2, for example, attack pawn. e3, yeah. Knight c4 again with the tempo, attack the rook.
Oh, some checkmates.
Yes. Rook a6, what else? And now I have two options. I can play rook c1, king g2, rook c2, attacking e3 pawn. And you have no comfortable way to protect it. without repetition. It's one possible option. Or instead of this check, I can play knight d2. It's also an interesting move. And try to create some attack against king, e4, knight f3, and so on. Also looks promising. Knight f4 also possible in some moment. So white won a pawn, but his pieces don't attack. White has need too great time to advance a pawn. So black creates threats much quicker. So it's
enough counterplay for
a very good counterplay for black. Yeah. So it's also a little bit more complicated way, but also very active play. It's the way how we can avoid passive defense. And if it's possible, we should try to find something like this. But Grandmaster Benjamin, perhaps he just didn't study this problem, didn't feel that it's dangerous to play passively like this, Rook c7. It's, for me, it's the last move which I would play. I would try to find something else. And after that, already black has real troubles. Knight f6 check.
Yes, it's unpleasant.
King h8 only move and g4. Black played h6. Maybe g5 was more stubborn, I'm not sure. Unpleasant to play such move, some big squares and so on. But maybe it was a little bit better than h6. He played h6. Now we played h4, naturally.
Can I?
Yes, a very interesting break. Yes, a very interesting trick, g5. I thought about it. No, well, of course, you cannot take pawn immediately. You can play intermediate check instead. Here and take the pawn now. But then you can take on a7, king g7, yeah, knight a8 check, knight d6. It's also unpleasant for black. So it's also an interesting option instead of h4. Little bit more complicated, but
h4 is more methodical.
Yes, but what your suggestion is also very good. I checked it. It's possible. Okay, h4. For white knight is extremely unpleasant. For black, of course, would like to attack this knight, but you cannot attack this king because knight a8. And you would like maybe to play knight d7.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I have knight a8. And Rook b7, knight d6, and attack 2 pawns. So you lose material.
Yes.
So it's the reason why. Why move of which played Benjamin, one move in a row was a very good move. Rook b7. He prepared both king g7 and knight d7. It's very good move.
So.
And now White played not accurate move. He wanted to force opponent Rook to be passive. He played Rook a5, attacking a5 pawn. So he wants to stop knight d7, to stop king g8 by attacking pawn. Actually, I would prefer another move. Actually, Rook b3 is stronger. To prevent many moves, to pin knight. Black maybe would play Rook b8 in this position, and then g5, say, something like this. White would keep his advantage. Yeah, but Romanishин played natural move Rook a5. He wants to force opponent protect the 5 pawn. And Grandmaster Benjamin did it. He played Rook a7. After this, his position is lost. It's a second time when such standard accurate defense, but passive defense in Rook, with the Rook on the board, it's absolutely anti-positional move. He should try to avoid such passive play. He should try to find something better instead. And it's not too difficult to find. Actually,
you can go for Rook endgame, but
why not?
Losing a pawn.
Yeah, of course, to lose a pawn for free, it's no sense because. But maybe it's not for free. We should check this line. If you understand the principle, we should check it. Try to find something. If we will not find, okay, we will not play that. But if you will check, maybe you will find.
D2 doesn't look very tempting. Even Rook a5, but
yes. I can
this move?
Rook d4, yeah, why not? I attack the pawn with check. I won't take the pawn with check. And after, when you protect the f3, Rook a4, you cannot protect a2 pawn. So I didn't lose the pawn. It's just exchange of pawns.
Okay, then.
And I avoid passive defense. It's an easy draw. Yeah. I avoid any danger. So I should just discover this idea Rook d4, Rook a4, double attack. Yeah. It's not too complicated line. Why I found it? Because I didn't want to play Rook a7. I tried to find something else. Okay, we can try knight a8 in this position instead of knight takes d7, but it's also not too promising. King G8, just protect pawn. I have time to protect f7 pawn. So knight d6 already not too dangerous. Pawn f7 is protected. I can play rook c7, and still I have counterplay. You didn't achieve big progress here. So it's how we should try to play to avoid passive move like rook e7. But after rook e7, his position became completely lost. He played a second passive move, rook e7, and now g5. Pawn takes, black is lost. King g7, rook c5. So white wants to play 4e5 and rook c8 and checkmate. And not clear how to defend against it.
97.
Yes. So what we can do with such passive position? What is consequence of passive approach? He played e4. a4.
Don't even need to go.
a5 is a threat. If knight a4, rook c8 wins immediately. Rook b7.
Just show.
Yeah. Checkmate. Unavoidable. Even in endgame it happens sometimes.
So rook b7, he wants to go a5.
a5, knight d7 with a tempo. But of course, they don't allow it. Rook b5 simply.
b5?
Rook b5. b5 he played. No, it's not only move perhaps, but reasonable. a5 is a threat.
So rook b8.
It was most. Maybe now rook e7 was reasonable. And after a5, knight c8. It's a bad position, but still he don't lose immediately. He can somehow to fight.
Yeah, looks very bad.
Well, it's bad position, of course, also. Yeah. Here, but after rook b8, I don't see. Yeah, rook b8 looks winning. Because you have no rook c8. Maybe rook c5, e5, something like this.
This is a trick.
This is a trick, yeah. Maybe this is the strange, but still it's fighting, some chances. It was most solid. But he played a6 instead of it. Now it's this pin on b5. I don't see the sense of it. Rook b4, a5, rook b5. Knight, rook b8.
Rook is protected, so
Yeah.
it's just zugzwang maybe.
Yeah, black has no useful move. E3, zugzwang. Black has no useful move, but even if black has some move like king h8, say, okay, I can take any pawn in anyone, but I can remember don't hurry principle. Okay, black can do nothing, so I can play king g2, king g3, improve position. Then I will see which pawn I will take. Completely lost, so he resigned. You say how quickly he lost the drawn position. The only reason he didn't use this principle to avoid passive rook. So two times he had chances to activate his pieces, and he didn't understand it. Okay, another example. It's not. We will not start from endgame, clear endgame. I found this example in the game of great chess author and great person, Grandmaster John Nunn. He's extremely well-educated person, extremely good player. He wrote a brilliant game, many brilliant books. I very like him. But you see, it happens even with such great players. Some games, sometimes they don't understand well, and you will see
Tough
here
game.
the same. No, it's not too tough. And also it happens sometimes that even such top players sometimes ignore some simple principles. You will see how it works. So we will speak not about this activeness of rook only, but about some other ideas. For example, it's already a very instructive, very nice situation, which I used initially like exercise and use now like exercise.
Come up with a good move, guys.
How black should play in this position.
I see a trick, but I'm not sure if it works.
We should. That's the first idea which we should check. Actually, if black plays some primitive move by knight, I will take on e2. It will be maybe slightly better.
No, the trick I was thinking about was check, takes, and e1 queen.
Yes, it's very natural trick, and of course we should consider it first. It's first line which we should. But white has a very unpleasant reply. Rook takes d7 instead. after
Here, yeah?
exit. Yeah, rook take d7. And now you cannot take on d7, your piece down. And what you can do?
If I move the queen, you just can take here, and lost too much material.
Yes, white will have a rook and 2 knights against queen, so white even better here.
So my trick doesn't really work.
But good idea. Sometimes some tricks doesn't work in initial position, but maybe we can prepare it somehow.
Okay.
It's another important topic about intermediate moves. And John Nunn demonstrated the way to improve this idea, somehow to prepare this idea, to play this trick.
I can see the move on the screen, so I'm not really thinking that hard. I'm just trying to figure it out. Knight b6.
Yeah, nice tactics. Knight b6. The idea is divert knight from c4, because after this trick will work. If knight takes b6, now I will play rook f1, rook takes f1 and e1. Because now move like rook at d7 is pointless because I have check on e3. It was the idea of knight sacrifice, to get e3 for the queen.
Black knight.
Yeah, is the point. But what you can do instead of rook d7 after e1 queen?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Black wants to play this check. Rook is hanging also. If you play knight c4, for example, attacking queen and my knight, but I will play queen e6, attacking your knight, so I will keep material advantage. If you play rook d3, defending against check, and attacking queen and knight, I can also attack your knights with queen a5.
Oh, queen a5, imagine.
And still keep my material advantage. So white cannot take material back. Black have material advantage and a good chances to win a game. So it's nice combination starting with knight b6. It's not another. I found this example in collection of best games of John Nunn. He annotated it. He
What
correctly
happens if you take the pawn?
Yeah, Balagan. He wrote that Balagan had 7 minutes for 8 moves or something like this at this moment, and he lost. He spent 6 minutes or 5 minutes from. He have only 2 minutes left for all other moves, and he played correct move after that. He played rook takes e2, rook takes e2, rook takes e2, knight takes c4, pawn takes g4. Pawn, knight takes b2. Black won a pawn. But it was, he correctly wrote that it's best choice for white. It had no something better. Now it's some interesting question I can ask. By the way, it's very useful to develop your intuition, your understanding of position, so to solve some problems intuitively. For example, the problem here. What do you think? Is this position... Okay, black has extra pawn, but it's clear that white has some potential compensation. White pieces now more active than black pieces. So it's the question, does black has real chances to win, or it should be draw without big troubles? So what is most probable, most natural result of this game, draw or black's victory? What is the impression?
My feeling says it's still a draw. I've been thinking about rook e7, rook f7, grabbing this pawn, but that looks very risky because the black king comes.
Yes.
So my feeling
is another good example on this topic, which we already discussed, the sin materialism or greediness. We shouldn't take everything what we can take. Let's check this at the board. Rook e7, rook f7, rook takes, knight d6, king e6, knight takes b7, king d5.
Yes.
Look on position. It's material equality, but white knight now is very bad. Black piece is much more active. No, say if we play king f2, for example, I can play knight c4. And okay, I have a threat knight e3, knight e5 also.
Yeah, knight e5 dominance.
White knight is very bad. Yeah, it's a great advantage. Knight gave this line and correctly evaluated like winning. Good chances to win for black. So it's not way to equalize for white. White should do something else. Actually, when I read a notation of John Nunn, that he wrote that white pieces are active and black knight is not good, so perhaps it would be easy draw, but white position has one serious drawback. Weaknesses, weak pawn on king side, isolated weak pawns. If white would have pawn on h3, say, instead of g4, it would be easy draw. But in such position, he wrote that, I believe that black has fair winning chances even with best play of white. Okay, it was his evaluation. I had opposite impression. I believe that it's an elementary draw, with even not with only moves from white side, by various way. Okay, it's interesting to analyze and to check if you have this or that opinion, then to check whether your intuition worked correctly or not. No, you will see that in this case my evaluation was correct. For me, it was a little bit strange that John Nunn, great player, he played this game, then he analyzed this game with computer, and he prepared it for his book with the best games. Of course, computer, at this moment when he prepared, computers was much weaker than now, it's clear. But from other hand, Nunn is a great player himself, so, but he made several mistakes with evaluation. Not too difficult mistake, by the way. So it happens even with great player. We shouldn't trust anybody. We should respect them, we should study from the notation, but we shouldn't trust everything. We should check ourselves. We have, sometimes even great player can make mistakes. So, white played move 96 with John Nunn practically don't have doubts. And normal move, which takes c4 square from the knight. He attacks pawn on b7 with the tempo. So, many advantages with this move. And you will see that it's a really good move. But there is one move which John Nunn just didn't consider, didn't mention. But it's a little bit pity. It's another principle of calculation, very important principle of calculation. Maybe we will speak about it also. We'll have time. Move candidates. Before to play and start to calculate some sharp line, you should see all your promising move. Try to see all your promising move. Okay, 96 is certainly promising move. Rook e7, of course, we need to calculate. We checked it already and rejected it. So 96, if 96 is only reasonable move, okay, we can play it without calculation. But first, maybe we have something else.
You can jump here.
What about knight c7? This move wasn't considered in the notation. I want to play a very unpleasant check on e6, attacking everybody. Rook, king, pawn, and so on. And not clear how I don't see how black can play for a win.
Rook c8,
Rook c8, Rook e7 perhaps. Not only move, but possible. If king f6, knight d5. If king f8, rook h7. So I have a very promising situation, position. Looks very promising for me. I checked a little bit. I didn't find how black can try to win. My impression is that this move makes easy draw. Okay, 96 also makes easy draw, so it's not mistake. But you see how important to see candidates. Sometimes you can find move which can make your task much easier. So, okay, white play 96. Black play b6. Now Balagan decided to take this pawn. He played rook e7, rook b7. Actually, Knight wrote that after this, white position certainly lost. Okay. He's wrong again. We will see it. But actually, there is another interesting decision. It illustrates some interesting practical approach to position. Okay, ask yourself first how black will play in this position. What is most unpleasant for you in this position from back side?
Well, if we go rook e7, the king will come to g5 and eat my pawns. And else rook f4.
Rook f4. Yeah, rook f4 is a reasonable move, active move. Yeah, but we can defend against it by g3, by playing g3. Grandmaster Hübner suggested this move, actually. Okay, if I will have time, I also will play king g2, I improve my position. But problem how black can play. Actually, not so easy to suggest a really very active reaction for black. If you don't see dangerous move for you, maybe you can wait, improve your position a little bit. Without a big calculation, maybe, why not? It's a reasonable approach. Prophylactic thinking helps you to understand that only unpleasant move is rook f4, so you defend against it, improve your position, and so you can wait what black will do. Maybe you will attack him later on. No, you don't need to hurry with it. Yeah, so it was reasonable, nice reaction. But only problem that it's not necessary reaction. It's an interesting, good reaction, but not necessary. Actually, what Balagan did, actually it's also draw. We'll see it now. King f6, rook b7, king g5, rook takes b6. Sorry, knight a4, knight a4. Yes, of course, he protects pawn, knight c4, he attacks pawn, king g5, knight takes b6, knight takes b6, rook takes b6, and rook f4. So it's the line which prepared from in advance, and he wrote annotation that okay, black don't need to hurry with capture on g4, but now more important for him to tight white rook down to the defense of c2 pawn. So then already I will
rook. I'm guessing we shouldn't get tied down.
Yeah. So when white rook will protect c2 pawn, then we already will take on g4, and actually we again get the situation with extra pawn on flank and extra with 2 pawns on the flank with passive rook, and
so something like
it was happened in the game actually. King takes g4 now.
Rook c3 and
rook c3. We discussed such position with single pawn, with 2 pawns against one. It's not even easy. Just advance everything on king side. And it's how John Nunn won this game without any troubles. Okay, but it's strange that Balagan wasn't time troubles. In time troubles, sometimes people play such natural moves without thinking. But Nunn analyzes the game for the books, and he is a very strong grandmaster. Why he played automatically? Thought that automatically white need to protect this pawn. Why?
So active rook.
Why not? Why not attack c5? Rook c4, and now I will lose c2 pawn, but I will not lose g4 pawn. So I lose 1 pawn, but not more. Even king h2, even king f2. I prefer this move than because I want to play g3 in some moment, and with king on h3 it can be like Zugzwang. Maybe it's not important, but still I prefer this. No, perhaps I will play rook c3 check. King f2, maybe c4, what else you can do? I play g3, say. Okay, you have extra pawn, but now my rook is active. It's the big difference. How you can make a progress with such active rook? King cannot take on g4 because I will take.
Looks like a draw to me.
Advance c pawn pointless because when you when rook on c1 I can place king on f3.
So I can start checking.
You already can attack, but you can just wait. King e3 also, also not bad. Say rook c1, king f3. If c2, of course, king g2 makes his elementary draw. Black still has no active option, just exchange. But what you can do without it? Okay, instead of position after c4, g3, we'll come back. I checked h5 like attempt, but then pawn takes king takes h5, g4 say, king g5, and some way can move like king g2. Computer told that even rook e6 make a draw, but I prefer to keep rook on c6. So I don't want to play, by the way, rook d2 because there is danger with such king you can win on king side. Just give up pawn on c4. I just wait with this move. I don't see how black can make a progress. But actually, this position already we can check with computer database, and database confirms. That's all such position around. It's an easy draw. So this active defense help white to make a draw without big troubles. Why it was amazing for me that top players don't see it even during preparation. By the way, myself also, initially when I wrote these exercises in my card file, I also didn't notice. I trust none, and I also wrote that after rook e7 check rook b7, after that position became lost. I also didn't understand it immediately. But it's strange that a very simple principle, but it's difficult even for grandmaster, even for people with experience, good experience. Sometimes it's difficult to use in practical game.
In time travel, sometimes you just stop calculating. You see rook c4, okay, loses pawn, you don't think anymore.
But actually, we just lose pawn, but we lose pawn in another line as well. Another pawn, we lose another pawn. But better to play with active rook. So it's so natural. So you see why it's important to understand such rules very well. We can make decision which now looks perhaps like very simple for us, nothing special. We play the cardinal rule, we don't lose some additional pawn, and so yeah, it's much more promising.
Yeah.
Playing with passive defense, yeah.
I'll have to wait for my next tournament to see if I learned anything, but of course, it looks simple.
Yeah. So such example really teach us to use, how we use this principle. It helps us to think in right direction, to don't calculate some passive move and try to find the way to activate your rook. So very often it works. Not always, of course, but very often it works. Okay.
Shall we do one more?
Maybe next.
Next video, yeah?
Next
Okay,
video.
stay tuned. More active and passive rooks are coming up. See you guys soon.